覚悟してろよ。行くぜ。
Welcome to World Breaker Coo's Reviews. I'm your host, World Breaker Coo, and today we are reviewing Marvel Legends Monster Venom Wave, Monster Venom, or Venom if you will. I am very, 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 very impressed with this figure. I was not going to get this wave, and then I saw all the reviews, or more shots of it. Then I got the first piece in hand, and I was like, okay, I've got to have this figure. And let me tell you one thing, folks. This is, without a doubt, one of the best Venom figures I've ever seen and never had in my hand. So definitely, if you can, pick this figure up. We're just going to start off with that, just to make sure you understand how serious this is. And with that said, let's get into the review. Let's see what I'm talking about with this guy. First off, who knows which Venom this is? I'm not sure if this is the Matt Gargan Venom, the Venom from, Thunderbolts. And just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about, there's Venom right there in the Thunderbolts book. It's a Monster Venom. He's very big there. But his eyes are different in that book usually, but not always. Sometimes he has small pupils in his whites, but as you can see right there, he does not. So I'm thinking it's the Matt Gargan. Venom that we've got here. If not, you've got me. Here's another shot of him when he's not all monstrous. But that's what I'm thinking it is. But either way, it's a very cool design. I love the Venom symbol on the chest. And there are some plain splotches. It's a little fuzzy here and there, especially near the bottom. It's really clean up top. It gets fuzzier as it goes down to the bottom. The back is pretty clean too, but again, you can kind of see some of the fuzz on some of these shots, especially towards the right hand of the back, or right side of the back, and the middle. So, who knows? For the most part, when you're looking at it from afar, it still looks good. And your eyes are not deceiving you. It's a purplish black, like a metallic, if you will. So it's not the classic black. At first, I thought that was a deal breaker for me because I'm a purist with Venom. I want to see the black. I want to see him how he should. But this works. This looks more alien. It looks really sinister, and this kind of pops, because it's so shiny. It almost looks like it's a material that shouldn't be. And I definitely like the mobility that he has for such a big guy. I mean, look at this. That's menacing. You can get this guy in some really, really frightening poses. The face is that's sick. It looks great. I really dig it. I really, if I sound happy about this review, it's because I am. And it makes those Spider Pigs of the world figures worth it when you have a figure that you're building that's like this. I definitely I think that this is a must-have for any Venom fan or any Marvel Legends collector. Just pick up the whole wave, or make sure you get the pieces on eBay or something, or trade. It may be a little hard to get those right now because it's hot. But I'm not sure, if you want to mess around in waiting. With that said, I do want to get some shots in with some other teams that I think are classic with this figure before I get into the wave review. And let's see what I got for you. Now this here is a Thunderbolts team, minus Songbird, because she actually wasn't in this Dark Avengers lineup. But it was these guys here. And sometimes I like to fudge, this Venom or this Spider-Man in, because that's kind of how Matt Gargan looked in the Thunderbolts team when he was masquerading as Spider-Man. And no, I had the wrong Wolverine because it's supposed to be Dakin. But you see Spider-Man or Matt Gargan masquerading as Venom. He made his symbiote go down a little bit. That's Bullseye as Hawkeye. And of course, it's not Iron Man. That's actually Green Goblin himself. And Moonstone masqueraded as Miss Marvel. And you know what? I left out the Sentry because he was also in on that team. So let's get him in here as well. I don't know what I did with my cape. but he was part of that. There we go. He was part of that Dark Avengers lineup too. So I definitely think that if you can fudge Venom in there, it works, because there were times in the team where he actually just kind of lost his mind and would turn into the big symbiote Venom and not be in full control, and they'd have to kind of wrangle him back in because the public was wondering, why is Spider-Man trying to bite people's heads off? So definitely I like that we've got this Venom to do that, because we needed a good monster Venom. And he doesn't have to be Matt Gardner. He could just be Eddie Brock. It's whatever you really want him to fit. But I definitely like him with this team. Now let's look at the wave review and see what my favorites are and see where this Venom stands. But just in case you're wondering before I do that, here is the Marvel Select Venom. And we're going to do a comparison video on which one I like the best. But I want you guys to kind of see the scale and size, just kind of a prerequisite. And here we have the Monster Venom wave. So it's a good wave. It's a very good wave. Actually, I think this is probably one of my favorite waves this year. And we've had a lot of great waves, but this one really kind of, kicked some butt, considering some of it was a little bit odd to have that many symbiotes in one wave. But I think it worked. Least favorite, no surprise here. Spider-Ham. Has he grown on me? Not really. Will I get rid of him? I don't know yet. I might keep him just for the comic relief of having a bad figure in my collection, or several. But yeah, he's, obvious reasons, he's my least favorite. I don't think he's really worth the buy, just being completely honest, unless you're an avid fan. So there's that. And I've seen some reviewers say that, well, he, kind of made up some of the costs for the other figures in the wave, so that's why. Well, if that's the case, why don't you just make him cheaper to kind of, make sure the consumer's not getting bit by having just this and an extra head for a figure, because that's not worth $20. So I'm not buying that. So that's my least favorite. Then from there, we really get good stuff. We've got Venom re-release. He's got some problems with the feet, like I said earlier. But for the most part, this is a solid figure. Older Buck. They could have done a newer Buck for this wave, since he's the highlight of the wave, or the namesake of the wave, but they didn't. I still think it's worth the price if you have not picked him up or don't have any Venoms at all. Then after that, I'm kind of shocked, because I really would have expected, Ty Floyd Mary to be higher, but mine has had some problems on the front of the chest, and actually looking at some of the costumes she's had in the past, I really think they kind of missed the buck here. Plus all the paint, issues mine has on the back there and the front of her chest or front of her stomach. But it's still a good figure, don't get me wrong. It's still a good figure, but I really like the character and I wanted a little bit more. So she is my, what is this? Sixth favorite, or can't even count. Third least favorite. Trying to go backwards here, folks. Then after that, Poison. I think Poison's a very solid figure. The only thing that really held him back is just some cool accessories or some extra hands, just something to kind of go with him, because he looks really cool, or at least a little bit more paint on the back. I think that would have shot him up even higher, but he's definitely a must-have. I feel one of my favorite characters, our favorite figures this year. And then we've got Scream. I love the hair. I love that Hasbro went back and said, you know what, we're going to use that grown man or a grown woman Buck and bring it back, because a lot of people have not seen that Buck in a while. It's more mature. That's what we want to see more of. That style. So glad to see it. Love the head. Love the colors. She works. And then everyone falls down. So we'll just move them out the way. And they're all losing points for that. All of them. After that, my next favorite figure, surprise, surprise, is Carnage. Carnage, I have not had any of his in the past, and I just love this figure. I love the accessories it comes with. It's just, all in all, a really good, solid figure. I think even if I had this previously, because of the axe, the extra head, the extra hands, extra curly stuff going on, I'd have to pick it up again. It's great. It's definitely great. And as no surprise, as much as I gushed over it, my favorite figure of the wave is, of course, the Build-A-Figure. Venom, they just killed it. This was a great pickup, and I am happy to have this in my collection because I would have had a lot of regret, a lot of remorse not picking it up. So I hope you've enjoyed this long review. And if you have stuck around, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And if you haven't seen the previous review, check out that review there. I appreciate you all for the comments and supporting me. I really do enjoy it. Thank you very much to you, the people. Until next time, peace and World Breaker Cool Grease.